of the All-Star game. What is up in the NBA? In
Lots of ratings.
2025, that is true. The NBA All-Star game has a new format again. This time it's moving to a tournament-style competition featuring 4 teams. So there's going to be 3 teams of All-Stars with 8 players each, and then a 4th team made up of Rising Stars winners. So there will be 2 semifinal games up to 40 points, and then a championship game with each player on the winning team getting $125,000. And while the league hopes to energize its showcase event, Doc Rivers, Kevin Durant, they have already voiced strong criticism here. Here's what Anthony Davis had to say about these changes.
I don't really like it, but we'll see how it goes this year and see if they change that or not. Anything go back to like East-West, but the 4 teams and multiple games and all that stuff is just, I don't think a lot of players are gonna like that personally, but we'll see. I mean, see how it goes.
I don't think it's a good sign when you have this many prominent players already saying, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm not really sure how I feel about this. But you, Tim, spoke to Commissioner Adam Silver yesterday. A select group of reporters were able to ask him some questions. What did he say about why they made this specific change?
Well, they made these changes because the NBA has essentially given up on the ability to have a competitive All-Star game, and so they're going to try to have an entertaining night. I mean, it's basically what he said, that last year he made it very loud and clear that he thought there was going to be more competition in the game and that he was wrong. The game did not have that, and so they've worked with the Players Association to try to come up with some sort of format that they think will create a fun atmosphere. And he didn't seem super excited about it. He said he was optimistic, but, you know, I think it's more than anything, it's an admission of an inability to get this to where the NBA wants it to go. And
so now we see yet another change here. Brian, what do you think about this new format?
Well, it took you like multiple pages on your script there to read all the rules. But I'm just going to say it needs 32 players.
And I'm still confused, by the way.
It needs 32 players to work, right? But there's only 24 All-Stars. So are they going to have more All-Stars? No. Even though there should be more All-Stars, they're not going to have more All-Stars because that's bad for business, because then we have to get paid more. So they're going to have 8 rookie sophomores play in this setting? Like, what? Like, why is that an answer? Like, I'm sorry.
That's
like,
because there is no good answer. That's why.
I mean, and that's what Adam said. By the way, when you say he's given up, you're not making fun of him. That's what he said.
Yes.
On the record.
Yeah, look, that ship sailed. It's a collective ideology. It's a mentality amongst the players. Until that changes, you're never going to get anything that looks remotely competitive or even like natural, like real basketball. We all know that's not what that is. So whatever, let the league try something different. The only thing that might get a little bit of rise out of some of these guys is we don't want to lose to the young fellas, right? I guess that's the thinking here.
I don't think they care.
A group of 8 All-Stars taking on 8 first and second year players.
But that only works if the first and second year players come with the proper energy.
And their game looks a lot like the NBA All-Star game. So they're even seeing what these guys do. Yeah. So when they're putting that same format, they conduct themselves the same way. It's just, I don't see how you get it back.
Well, and to your point, that was what Adam Silver's point was last night. He said that when you look at the overall landscape and the new generation of players, they just don't see the All-Star game with that kind of, they need to show up with that kind of intensity to play that way.
It's wild to me because that is like diametrically opposed to what it is to be a great player in any sport at any time. And I do understand that there's money that is an incentive, right? Like, you guys have huge contracts, so you don't necessarily feel like this moves the needle per se, you know, to play for money or to play for X, Y, or Z. Your goal is to win in the playoffs and to win championships. But still, this is like one day just for the fans. And I think the OGs, the old heads, understand this. I know that Steph Curry has been involved in conversations because he is playing and serving as host, and he's bought it. And Kevin Durant, whenever he touches the floor, he plays hard. LeBron James shows up. Like, the issue that we have is just an issue with perception and valuing something that you should never tell players to be valued. Fans don't need calculus to watch an NBA All-Star game. Like, they don't need to like look into the matrix and say like, okay, if this happens, it's simply pride. And if Adam Silver could go out there and play, he probably would to try to help, but he can't. The players have to buy in on this being an important moment for the league.
Yeah.
And unfortunately right now, the goalpost has shifted to postseason, and that's all they care about.
And new things can be bought into. We've seen that LeBron James bought into the first season of the NBA Cup, and the Lakers won. Giannis Antetokounmpo was pumped to win the NBA Cup. New things can be bought into, but we are just not seeing that right now with the All-Star format, and it is a shame. Something I am really looking forward to, y'all, is celebrating